The Valley of the Kings was a burial site for the kings of the 18th, 19th, and 20th Egyptian dynasties for nearly 500 years. It remains one of the biggest archaeological sites since the end of the 18th century. The valley crouches underneath Al Qurn, a natural pyramid also known as the Peak by the Egyptians. The kings, along with powerful nobles of the new kingdom, were buried in secluded limestone cliffs from the Nile River to Egypt's capital of Thebes, which also includes Luxor, Valley of the Queens, and Karnak. Each king got to choose which pyramid he would like to be buried in, such as the Pyramid of Giza. If a queen didn't want her own tomb, they were buried with her husband, which was common. The limestone walls surrounding them were covered in religious text and the pictures of the dead in the presence of deities, his wife, and gods of the underworld. In the 18th centuries, lots of the tombs were very unplanned, and when the 19th century arrived, they made their tombs more organized and decorative. Archaeologists who started investigating the tombs found they consisted of about 2 rooms, blue ceilings covered with stars, long tunnels, and pathways, along with few entryways to keep out tomb robbers. Almost all of the tombs were ransacked by robbers and a few construction workers who decided to break into another tomb while working. Documents from the trials were later placed in the tomb to show justice had been served. Tombs were filled with food, furniture, wine, and beer for use in the afterlife. Tombs were usually built after a pharaoh takes the throne, which is a building process that could last for decades due to the occasional flash floods that damaged the entrances to the tombs. Axes and chisels were used to build the tunnels and rooms out of solid rock. Queen Hatshepsut's burial chamber is around 700 feet, which is the longest of them all. The largest one were given to the sons of Ramses II. 21st century King Sedgwick had 2 tombs built for himself. Egypt was a key destination for visitors in Roman times, and many of the tombs had ancient graffiti written on them in Greek and Latin from visitors. There are about 63 tombs in the Valley of the Kings, and only 30 individuals have been identified, but there are more that remain unidentified. The discovery of King Tut's body in 1922 was a big highlight in history. King Tut was buried around 1500 BC in the 18th century. After his reign was over, other family members such as his father, Akhenaten, were buried in Thebes. The equipment used for his mummification process was the same used for King Tut's. There are many college groups and Egyptologists who have discovered and identified kings and queens. The tombs were classified by the number in which they were found and had initials KV or WV, which stands for Kings Valley or West Valley, for the discovery location. In 2005, a team led by archaeologist Otto Skeden discovered the first unknown tomb since King Tut's. The site was classified as KV63, which was found about 50 feet from King Tut's tomb and consisted of sarcophagi, pottery, linens, flowers, and other materials. Archaeologists occasionally found the king's pets, which were normally buried with them. An Egyptologist named Victor Loret discovered the tombs of Amenhotep II and Thutmose III. The Amarna Royal Tombs Project is an archaeological survey and excavation project in the central part of the Valley of the Kings done in 1988. They also explored the areas where Egyptologists Howard Carter and Theodore Davis worked. They started off finding the entrance to Ramses VI's tomb, where they found lots of pottery and inscribed limestone, ostraca, and paintings dating back to Ramses III. The paintings in the tomb represented lunar discs, including a kneeling goddess. Artifacts in the Amarna were very rare. The Valley of the Kings has lots of history and remains a mystery.